What's up everybody? It's Mike B and Maui with Bombero Bus VW, reminding you to dub daily. And today I'm going to do a part 2 of this Pertronix install that I put on Jimi Hendrix the 1965 Bug. I hate to do the part 2, but here it is, and the reason why it quit working again, and we'll get into that in the video. First, a shout out to Rare Air-Cooled VW. Just drove this Bug to a show of theirs in Pensacola. It was amazing. Over 200 registered, well over 200 registered air-cooled VWs. So let's get into this. The car ran perfectly all the way there and back, and let me show you why. It's because the Pertronix is not in there. So if you watch his channel, then you're probably wondering, why not? I thought that you got the Pertronix figured out, and I thought I did. But the bottom line is, it started going out right before the show. I didn't want to be that guy whose car was stumbling at idle everywhere I went, and I just pulled it out and put in old reliable. Because here's what the Pertronix started doing right before I wanted to drive to this show. So if you saw the first video, then that looked very familiar to you. That's exactly what it did when I installed it. And then, like I said, putting that clamp on it appeared to have fixed it. And now we're back to square one. Now, if you remember, or you go back and watch the other videos, you know I tried multiple things to get the Pertronix, the Igniter 3, to work in this car, and nothing worked except for when I put this beefy clamp on here and started tightening up on it. All of a sudden it hit a perfect idle, and it ran that way for, well, ever since that video. The problem with that solution is that it didn't pass the sniff test. It just didn't make sense. There's too many guys running the Pertronix, you know, with the normal clamp on it, and I suspect Tony B, he left a comment, and I don't think it passed the sniff test for you either. And that's a good channel you should check out. And Scotty C is doing some wizardry out there. In particular, Scotty C questioned the timing of these electronic ignitions and went into great depths to scientifically prove that they might not be working as advertised. So you should check that guy out too. Now me, I'm not so technically savvy. So what's gonna happen here is I've got the Pertronix out. This is the billet Pertronix Igniter 3 electronic ignition with the flamethrower billet distributor. You've seen it. And there's some other things that are suspect. If you do a deep dive in the Samba, all kind of things have gone wrong for people who have tried to run this. You know, it could be this, it could be in the shaft. I've noticed that right here at the button, this is excessively worn out. It could be any of these, but instead of like ordering a new distributor cap or anything new, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna put it into Roxanne, who is currently running well, and see what happens. If she accepts it, all right, then we can start narrowing some things down, because I'm not ready to blame Pertronix yet. And if I can isolate the problem to the Bug, then hey, we have some directions to go. And so let's get to it. I won't bore you with the details. You've seen it before, but I'm going to put this on top dead center, number 1, get this dizzy pulled, and install the Pertronix. And let me just go on record as saying how much this saddens me, because, you know, Roxanne is running beautifully, and I hate to mess with her in such condition, but you don't mind, do you, girl? Okay, now here's the billet flamethrower. Just before I put it in, I've removed it from the Bug and cleaned it up, and what I'm noticing already is seems to be an uneven wear pattern on this collar here, in particular right there, even a bit of a scratch. I don't know if the camera's showing it, but you can see nice and shiny watch this area here, nice and shiny. And then as I turn it, you see that wear pattern coming in. So the uneven wear pattern is making me think maybe a bent shaft on this distributor could be the problem. But either way, I'm going to follow through with what I started, get this in the bus, and see what happens. Well, there it is. And let me just take this chance to say this was not easy. Getting this in and out of the case is very difficult. Trying to get one of those new seals pushed down in there is ridiculous. These spark plugs didn't have the caps, the screw-on caps that these spark plug wires require, so I had to get back there and carefully thread those on without losing them down into the abyss. It's a nightmare. And here we can hear that the idle sounds pretty good after putting it in the bus, so I'll take it on a drive and come back and see how it's doing. All right, I'm not gonna go on a long run this time, just up to the store, just enough to get it warm enough to check and set the timing, and then I'll take it on a longer run later. But I'm gonna turn the camera off because right now I'm using the GPS on my phone for my mile per hour, and I'm still interested in that, so we'll be back. Okay, just got back from a quick run up to the store, just about 6 miles round trip. It sounds like it's dropping down to a really good idle. The car, it felt like it was, the timing was a bit retarded on that drive. So it's at 7.5 degrees now, just because I said it. If you saw from the first video, it recommends 34 total timing. So, and advertises that it moves 24 degrees. So I'm gonna set it at 34 total, and hopefully it will settle on 10, and then we'll go from there. But it was a good run. I hit 65, I know, just by feel. Probably a little bit more. Didn't get on the interstate this time. Head temps were showing 275 when I got back. And that's the oil temp. I don't know if the camera shows it, but you know, that's it's hitting good. It's firing good and strong, and returning to idle. So only time will tell. And then what's really special to me is that those carbs are not flooding after a pretty hot run. The throat of that one just measured 105 degrees. The 3 and 4 was a little bit more at 108. Definitely not enough to boil any fuel and cause it to get in my intake there. So that's nice. Of all the things I've dealt with, flooding carbs is probably one of the most annoying. But like I said, those EPC 34s work well. Just a couple of things you have to do. Got it in a past video, but basically those phenolic spacers there, dissipating the heat between the intake and the carb. And you know, you got to put you some Weber hardware in there, especially the needle and seat washer that goes underneath it. But you could check back some other videos for that. Point is, she ran good, came back to a good idle. Well, there you go. I think this is going to be a good experiment to conduct. We'll see if in about a month or so, like the Bug did, if the bus rejects that Pertronix. If it does or does not, either way, that gives me some direction to go. So now I'm going to sit here and enjoy this beautiful sunset, because you know how frustrating these can be at times. Every now and then you just got to sit back and take in the sheer beauty of it all. Don't forget, at Rat's Revenge is the club, and you can check out some pics on at Bombero Surf VW. Dub daily, and above all, get out there and drive them.